making a feature film in under 1 week sounds impossible. And if you asked me that about 2 years ago, I'd say it couldn't be done. But I've made a dozen feature films in 1 year, and a lot of them were made in about a week or less. So I would love to take you through the process of how I make feature films quickly, efficiently, so let's jump right into it. The number one tip that I would give is come up with a gimmick. A gimmick can be something that can make a feature film very fastly, but also not sacrifice any quality. And this would be an example of my film, One Shot. I made a film in literally one shot.
You understand? You're dead! Keep it quiet or I will. Open your mouth, you're gonna wish you never had.
It's one of my most well-received movies because the story is really good and people enjoy the pacing of the film because there is no cutting, there is no breaks, and we put the film in a moving van, so it's just moving, so everything feels very fast-paced, very high energy. We all got problems. It's not so easy. We were able to shoot this film in only 3 hours, and it sits at a pretty good Letterboxd review rating as of right now. So I think that one thing people can learn is that if you come up with a unique gimmick, maybe set all your characters in one room, or maybe set all of your characters in a situation that is a limited amount of time so that everything has to be recorded very quickly to make sense. So that is a really good way to get around making a feature film for a long period of time, is to come up with a gimmick. My second tip would be go small scale. A lot of the feature films that I ended up creating were very small scale. They involved 1, 2, maybe 3 characters maximum. I never tried to overbloat these scripts with too many characters or too many people, because ultimately if you're gonna make a feature film really quickly, you need to have people that are gonna be reliable, they're gonna be there, they're gonna shoot, and they're gonna get it done. A good example would be my film Chlorine Reminiscing, which we ended up also shooting in 1 day.
Everyone's got dirt. The best ones know how to clean it up quick.
Me and my buddy Joel Dick, we decided just to grab our camera, go around and shoot a bunch of scenes and make it into this little story that we had come up with. And I think a lot of people really liked that film just because of the laid back nature of it. It was just me and Joel. There's not any other characters really involved, and it's very, very simple and very, very quick. My third tip would be shooting a feature film in a different location. Let's say you are in Chicago like I am, and you go on a vacation somewhere and you want to film a movie there. You're only going to be at a vacation usually for about a week anyways. So if you're there and you make a movie, you're limiting the amount of time that you can have to shoot that film. Good example, my film Tell Me You Love Me, I ended up shooting in about 8 days of time, just a little bit over a week. And I think what was really effective is that because I was only there for a limited amount of time, I wasn't able to bloat the script or the story or the idea too much, because I knew I had to be there for a certain amount of time. I only had a certain amount of actors. I only had the ability to create a story with what was around me. And I didn't allow myself to get wrapped up in it being a bigger story than it needed to be. Maybe you're gonna go spend time with your in-laws or something like that, and you can make a film about that. You could do something in a different place and a different time, and you could just be there for a small period of time, capture that moment, and it will be kind of like a postcard from a different place. My final tip is more of a mindset tip. I think so many people don't believe that they can make a feature film in a short amount of time that's going to be quality. And I think I used to believe that as well, but when I looked at my film, The Long Con, on Letterboxd, it has a pretty good rating on there. And it's my #1 best rated film. And I had spent about 4 or 5 years working on that. But then I looked at the film I made, One Shot, in 3 hours. It had almost an identical score and had more reviews than The Long Con. And I spent 3 hours making that in terms of production. Just making films is practice. Just making art is what you need to do to get to the next thing you're gonna create. And I know that the films that I've made in 1 week have taught me a lot about filmmaking, have taught me a lot about directing, and have taught me a lot about acting. And I think that even if those aren't going to be the films I'm going to be known for one day, I think that those films have taught me a lot of lessons, and a lot more lessons that I would have ever learned had I spent years trying to develop one script or one project. Thank you guys for watching this video. I made a video about the 12 Features project. You can check it out somewhere in the ether over here. This explains all about that. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, check it out, and thank you, and consider subscribing. Okay, peace, bye.